Bad Culture Crew. Finding the terrible, so you don't have to. Welcome to Bad Culture Crew, the premier source for the terrible. We're so glad you've joined our journey into this week's best of the worst media. Please take a moment to get comfortable, grab your favorite alcoholic beverage, and prepare for some hilarious fucking bad. This is Bad Culture Crew. Finding the terrible, so you don't have to. Presenting your hosts, Austin Daniels and Steve Nevels.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, Wendy. Thank you so much. This certainly is the Bad Culture Crew. We do find the terrible, so you don't have to. I'm sitting alongside Richard Simmons, housekeeper, Steve Nevels. How you doing, Steve?
Well, for the last 2 years, as you may know, Richard Simmons has been sort of out of the public eye, out of the limelight. And I just want to tell you that it's because I've spent the last 2 years with Richard in his home, and we've been working down this 400 plus pounds of the freak of nature blob that I was. And he wanted to devote his undivided attention to working on what he considered his biggest project to date.
Quite literally.
Largest.
He still has a ways to go. I mean, you are still repulsive to look
I am
at.
still fat, disgusting slob of a human being. But he's done a remarkable job. I don't think I was holding him against his will. I know that's everybody's now saying.
They're saying that you used witchcraft.
Witchcraft, yes. Which first of all, I don't even know the first fucking thing about witchcraft.
You would sit around in the backyard with your black cats, and you know.
Well, I do have a lot of black cats, and I was teaching people how to fly on broomsticks the other day, but I don't really consider that so much witchcraft.
What was that? Just
that was just sort of like a typical Friday night for me.
Yeah.
That's what I consider a party these days. No, it's a party.
Fucking witchcraft. Yeah, isn't that a weird story? Like, what he just kind of disappears. I mean,
yeah, I think
like, do people like really have a need to see Richard Simmons again? I like Richard Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really done anything big or life changing for anybody since Sweating to the Oldies, the old VHS tapes,
which is awesome.
And we know that anybody that still has a VHS player, this is really the only thing you put into it. There's no other reason.
You can put Billy
Blank's what? Tybo Camp?
From Tybo.
No,
yep.
Those all went to DVD. See, Richard Simmons never got converted.
Oh, it never did?
No, they never put that shit on DVD.
Oh, we got to get that on DVD.
So that's what I mean. Like I'm starting a Kickstarter right after this program. Get all of his old Sweating to the 80s or Sweating to the Oldies, whatever it was called.
That should have been converted. My GoFundMe.
Yeah, converted onto DVD as quickly as possible. Shit, let's put them on Blu-ray. I want crystal clear 1080p 24-frame picture.
People would buy that.
Shit, I'd buy it.
People would buy that as well as they'd buy, what's his name? The big guy with the fro painting little happy bushes. That guy.
Oh, yeah, but Bob something.
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross.
Yeah, they'd get that too. Because 90s love Afro guys.
Everybody loves
white Afro guys.
And it was so soothing, too.
We're going to paint this little bush here if you don't want to.
Well, the thing about Richard Simmons was he was a maniac. And he was crazy, and it never, even though he was yelling at you the whole time, it never sounded like he was yelling at you.
No, because he's like,
he was very motivational.
Yeah, he was, and he's fun. He made it fun, and he also didn't make it feel like you couldn't eat what you wanted. You just had to jump around.
Yeah, I mean, you'll eat some fucking ice cream while you're jumping around in the living room.
People were actually criticizing him, saying, it's like, oh, he's just hiding because he gained weight. He's like, no, I still weigh 150 pounds. Like, it's like,
look, here's the thing. He's fucking 67 years old. Like, what do you want from the man?
I'm sure he's gained weight, I'm sure, at some point in his life, but he's also really old, and he's kind of a little guy.
Last time I remember seeing him was his little 10-second cameo from The Nutty Professor. Okay. And he's in it for like 10 seconds.
Is he in it?
Yeah. He's in like a dream sequence, too. Like, it's not even anything to do with the plot.
I guess the last thing he was in was the Macy's Day Parade in 2013. That's the last public
That's the last time anybody saw him, huh?
The last public appearance.
Was he one of the floats?
No.
Okay, well then he hasn't gained any weight.
Well, maybe he was like bopping around and beneath. I don't know. He's Richard Simmons.
Probably not.
Let's do a show.
I didn't know we were doing one.
We are. Steve, I'll be doing the therapy sesh this week. I'm going to be talking about a sugar mama. That's what I'm going to talk about.
Oh, that's it? That's it. There's no more than that?
That's it. That was the end of my sentence.
Oh, how great.
Okay.
I'm very excited about that. I've never had a sugar mama before, I don't think.
No?
No, probably not.
Okay. No,
I'd remember.
well, maybe when you keep losing all your weight to Richard Simmons'
We'd have
plans.
a much nicer studio if I had a sugar mama.
Well, it is pretty hot in the studio. It's actually a
Fucking
little hot today.
Yeah, I would get some AC in this motherfucker.
Yeah, there is some right
if I had
there,
a sugar mama.
but it's not really doing much of anything. Guess what? We're doing a new segment this week.
Oh, man, another new segment?
Yeah.
The show just keeps changing.
And then after that, it won't change for a long time. But we've got a new segment.
Amazing. New segment this week called Girl Logic.
What's Girl Logic about?
And
Tell me
look,
about
Girl
this.
Logic is anytime. Have you ever talked to a woman?
No.
No, Austin's never talked to one. But
No, I've
you ever
never.
talk to a woman and they say something and you kind of tilt your head and go, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know? And so we have decided to, this is going to be a monthly segment. We've taken some things that I've heard in actual conversation from people, and we've turned this into a thing. We're not trying to like make fun or poke holes. I mean, more in a sense we are, but there's just a lot of holes in the way that some women think, and we're just trying to put the awareness out there and kind of come to sort of a resolution to what exactly their train of thought is and when they say things.
I'm sure there was a guy logic thing too that women could come up
There's
with.
got to be. Well, that's what the View
adverse.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a whole show devoted
And
to
half
it.
the time it's like, no, he means what he says.
Yeah.
That's
That
usually
women never
when I'm
mean
watching
what
The
they
View
say,
all the time.
you know?
Yeah, and we wanted to, in plans for this, we wanted to have a girl on this, but we can't, we don't know any women.
We don't know any women, so
And,
they're not
it's-
going to be coming on the show, but
Very fucking difficult. But we'll get through that.
we will put the feeler out on social media and try to get some female perspective into the things that we talk about in that segment.
And we do have some female listeners who appreciate us
We
for
have
some
one.
reason.
Yeah, there's one out
No, we
there.
have multiple. We have a few.
It's amazing.
We do. Do you want to tell us what we're going to be doing in the Girl Logic segment, or you just want to?
We'll wait. We'll save it. We'll save it
okay.
for
The
when we
big
get
premiere,
there.
big premiere.
for the Girl Logic segment.
Yeah, we have new music for that too. Wendy,
Of course we do.
Okay, cool.
Wendy hooked it up.
Wendy, you're getting it done. You got Steve's paperwork here. You're doing a good job.
Got my beer ready.
Pick a side this week, Steve. Who's going head to head?
Well, it's John Goodman versus Kristen Wiig.
Put him in the ring.
Put them in the ring. Now, see if you keep up with the useless news like we do, you'll know that John Goodman had a run-in with Kristen Wiig earlier in the week that did not go as John Goodman planned. So we have some very funny things to talk about, and you're going to have to pick a side.
We'll certainly take sides in this one, like we always do. My Make It Weird this week, I'm going to be talking about the Internet Cat Video Festival. It's ended, guys. It's all over.
I'm really fucking devastated that this is no longer a thing. This drew more attention, I think, than some days at the Sundance Festival. Because the last I read, there was like tens of thousands of people that were showing up to this Internet Cat Video Festival. And it's like, Sundance, what do they see? 4,000 or 5,000 people a day? It's fucking crazy. Yeah. That's insane.
What are they putting there? United Passions?
Dumb.
Still pretty good, though. Anyways, Steve, you're going to end the show because it is St. Patrick's Day. We're debuting this episode.
So excited. My St. Patrick's Day family. Wherever you are, I'm sure you're probably out drunk and slovenly in the street. But if you're not and you're able to listen to this show before you go out, I am going to give you the famous WikiHow, how to celebrate St. Patrick's Day properly.
We're going to need you because we are pre-gaming at the Bad Culture Crew studios before we go.
Everybody pre-games at the Bad Culture Studios.
We're widely professional here. Bad
Amazing.
Culture Crew, We've got video game consoles. We've got card tables that cost $30. We've got all this high-tech equipment.
This is very expensive, prestigious studio equipment.
Because we do a show every week. We have all these segments we do. But before we do all that, it's time for the Bad Culture Commentary.
Culture Commentary.
This is becoming quite crazy, is it not? These Trump rallies and their protesters are quite out of hand. The Chicago one has been shut down. The one in Kansas City involved the use of police using pepper spray. Not to mention the altercations with some members of the media and other events. Was it always this bad? Honestly, it doesn't appear to be so what to make of all this? Not much for me, folks, because, well, it's just sad to see. I don't personally blame Trump for this, but his followers are so big that they've managed to have their own sect of folks who are probably racist and have extremist views. These folks are what seem to incite the violence that we're seeing. Granted, on the other side, we have folks charging the stage, which is also extremely dangerous. While it's quite fascinating and somewhat positive that people are actually passionate about our nation's future, it's obviously negative when people resort to the extreme. I've said this many times on the show, but I'm quite tired of people cutting people out of their lives over personal beliefs. Here's an example of people on both sides reaching their boiling points and have no respect for folks on the other side. It's just sad. I hope it can change, but I fear there's more to overcome. And that's my bad culture commentary.
So we see this now on the regular for Trump rallies.
It seems to be going upward. It seems to be.
Yeah. Do we see this going on at any other candidates' rallies? And I don't mean like it's happening, but we're not seeing it in the news. Is it just not happening?
Well, I think no, but I think there's more to it than simply that. Hillary has much smaller crowds. Bernie has a lot of bigger crowds.
Yes, he does. And I don't see any of this shit going on at Bernie rallies.
But Trump's crowds are big. Bernie's crowds are big, but Trump's are way bigger. Like it's not even close, really.
Okay, so you're saying that a massive crowd, you have to anticipate that it's just going to be.
I think
insinuate a riot.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. I've seen, I've been to baseball games. You've been to sporting events, right?
Right.
And every time I go to a sporting event, I see people fighting and getting drunk and doing something stupid.
Okay. See, I don't.
I remember one time. Well,
not every time.
I've seen it quite often. Almost every time I've gone. I remember one time
They're looking at like a 90%.
No, I was up there. Yeah, it's pretty high, and I went up there, and that's about relative. I went up. I was in Fenway Park, and me and my dad and my sister, we all set up in the high bleacher area, and we could see the whole bar park.
The nosebleeds.
It wasn't quite that. It was a weird area. I know it was really high. You could see everything.
That's what they call it.
And we saw 3 to 5 fights of people breaking out there.
That's pretty good.
And
but
of course,
that's Fenway. I mean,
but the alcohol's involved, and I'm like, I'm sure there's more we haven't seen. And I've been.
So you're saying that the people that go to all the Trump rallies are drunks?
I'm sure there's alcohol. People like drink and go to the Trump rally. I'm sure that happens. And
why?
I think.
It's not a fucking sporting event.
I know, but some people think it is. I think what it is Trump has welcomed so many people to follow him. So many people. And I'm sure there's a lot of
anybody
good people
that would follow him, yes.
And I'm sure there's a lot of good people there that have the best intentions and are very passionate about it because there's been a lot of endorsements for him. But I'm sure his following is so big that there is a sect of people in there, not the majority, but there's a sect of people in there that want to punch black people.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the psychotics and the psychopaths just fall into his... but
I think
what
it's
he's
just
trying to
so
accomplish.
Big.
Right?
I think it's just so big. I mean, I think in any support of anybody, you're going to have, if it's that big, you're going to have crazy people in that, So
you would say it's double a Bernie Sanders rally, triple a Bernie Sanders rally. I mean, what do you think the scope is?
I've seen some where it's like 60% more people at Trump. Like Trump fills up basically entire arenas. Bernie gets close, but not that close. He's probably like half of it or something like that. It's probably about 60-something% more. He just has so many people that, like, you've seen the pictures where people are lining up around the blocks and blocks just to go see Trump. We don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it, but I've seen the pictures. Yes.
People are excited to go. Now, on the other side of it, like, we had people go up to the stage trying to attack Trump multiple times in the past few events either, and that's also dangerous. It's just...
So I'm just wondering, like, we haven't had a president assassinated in quite a very long time.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how long it would take for somebody to attempt to assassinate this man should he take office.
The Social Security,
is
the Secret Service is already there, and they are doing, they're not letting anything happen. Like, they're being probably overprotective, but it's like, I mean, this guy got close to the stage. I mean,
I wouldn't think they're being overprotective if people are attempting.
Yeah, but I mean, they have to do it, and people are, oh my god. But then there's stuff with the media, and there's a lot of weird gray areas and stuff.
And I guess the other thing is, like, the people that are trying to attack him are these black people or white people.
There's been both. There was
good.
The most recent one.
Good to see that we agree on one thing.
There was both. The one in Chicago was a black guy, but he didn't attack him. He attacked other people that said not so nice things to him. And the guy that attacked Trump at the most recent one, I forget where it was. I think it was here in Florida. Was Black Lives Matter empathist. He was somebody who stood on the American flag. Remember that was a trend last year. Yeah. He's like 22, and he wanted to run up to the stage, and of course they,
Oh, they wouldn't let him?
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
So
I figure they should just let anybody who wants to get up there and say their piece. Like, they're pretty much just letting
Bernie
anybody up
actually
there.
let somebody do it, though. Black Lives Matter came to crash Bernie's event, and Bernie does not have the resources as Trump does. So Bernie was in the middle, and then they took him back, and they asked him how he felt. Like, well, I don't like being interrupted, but I do understand there. And I'm like,
he doesn't like being interrupted. Did you see that Danny DeVito?
No, what did he do?
Danny DeVito gave the opening statement for one of the Bernie Sanders rallies.
Did he really?
It was like 2 days ago.
Bernie's getting a lot of
man. Danny DeVito was hilarious.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of celebrities too. It's just I just don't like it in the effect of, hey, like, you can go there and protest. There's been people who've gone to Trump rallies and protests that have not been kicked out.
Sure. There's a peaceful way to protest.
There is.
And then there's a way to be a fucking asshole.
And there's also a peaceful way to treat protesters, because they have a right to be there as much as anybody else.
And the easiest way to do that is just unfriend everybody on Facebook that doesn't agree with you.
Just be all passive aggressive.
Let's just do that.
I just don't like seeing it. I mean, I don't really have much of a thing to say. I just don't like seeing people you support this candidate? Well, fuck you, you're this. Or you don't support this. Oh my God, this and that. And I'll say this too. I really very much doubt, and Trump has said this, basically it's Bernie Sanders people going to Trump rallies to do this. I really don't think that Bernie
I don't think that's the case at all.
I don't think Bernie is actively sending people over there going, hey, fuck this up. No. And I don't think Trump is going, hey, get out there and do this and do that and beat up
That was actually a really funny thing on Twitter that Donald Trump actually tweeted at Bernie Sanders.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It said, sending people to cause interruptions or distractions at my rallies, blah, blah, blah. You better be careful or I'll send people to yours.
Yeah.
And his Twitter replied with, go ahead, send them over. They can see what a real politician looks like.
And, it's funny. It's
great.
They wouldn't be if black people are voting for Sanders. So, that's not the case. I'm
right.
sorry.
It's so insane to think
it's just really sad
that he would even... That his mind would go there.
That's for the media attention.
Yeah.
And he does that. He amps it up for the crowd to say, oh, that's a Bernie person. Get the Bernie person out of here. And he may be joking at the rally there, but,
No, but he's actually very serious.
I don't know what he is, honestly. I don't know what he is.
But
I just don't like seeing it.
I guess the main cause for concern that I have is the fact that despite the size of the crowd, like if that could be the only thing that's doing it, is we're not seeing this anywhere else.
No, we're not.
As much as I would love to see people punching each other's lights out at Hillary rallies, we're not seeing it.
She keeps them very close, though. She has kept her she's because she's gonna win, so she's
right.
She already knows it's in the bag. So all she has to do,
she doesn't have to put on a show.
Right, she doesn't have to get a bunch. She can be very secluded, and she kind of has to with the email thing going on. So it's
I gotcha with with the email thing that she just almost walked out on.
Yeah, it's just
last week.
I don't care.
Whatever.
So, anyways, what do you think? I just hope it can end. I don't think it will because I think
Trump just hates too many people, and that hate is spreading out into his crowds.
I don't think he does. I think people think he hates people. That's what I think.
Well, I mean, he's putting that out there.
I think he's not
putting that out there.
I think what he's doing, the only thing I can think of is, and it's not, and it can get dangerous real quick, is he is tapping into the passion, and people are letting their anger get the better of them. And that's what's happening. It's okay to be angry. I mean, this country, if you're angry with the last 8 years, fine, okay. And I'm sure things didn't go well for a lot of people.
They certainly didn't.
But you can't just go around punching people over it. That's the difference. And
right.
You know what could happen? At one point, he could go. He might actually do a flip and turn around, because I think he's on that tide of I'm going to try to be a statesman and do the whole thing. I don't know what's going to happen. I just don't want to
give it a shot. But I don't think that the image that he's portrayed, I don't think you come back from that. It's just
we'll see.
He's painted his picture, and that's the way it's going to be.
We'll see. There's only so much you can control, but it's just sad to see regardless. I don't want to see a bunch of people get pepper sprayed, but nor do I want to see somebody attack anybody on stage, because that's really dangerous. That's really dangerous. So that's all I can say, really.
Yeah, it's great.
That's it.
It sounds like we have a more suitable topic to talk about next. Something more lighthearted. Something more fun.
I know. I had nothing to talk about this week. People punching each other at Trump rallies. I'm like, I put this off for so long.
The one thing that I cannot wait for, and I'm telling you this right now, is for this fucking stupid goddamn election season to be over. I cannot wait till we just don't have to talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
And then we'll just have Trump as president. We can just make fun of him for 4 years.
Right. And then that'll be fine. But I'm just so sick and tired of all this bullshit that leads up to... I know. And then that's the sad part.
It's not going to stop. But whatever. That's how it is. What are we doing next?
You tell me, man.
Oh, I'm in charge. Oh, yeah. It's the therapy sesh.
Therapy sesh.
All right. This is from Ask Amy.
I love Amy.
Do you seek Amy?
No.
Okay. Do you know what that's from?
No, but I
Spirit.
just love her.
It's a begging to F you seek Amy. If you seek Amy. Fuck me. Okay, here it is. Ask Amy. Dear Amy, we met when I was 14 and he was 16. Oh, that's beautiful. But we reconnected. We were both married to other people and we left our spouses for each other. We were married for 6 years. This ended up being a very toxic and at times abusive relationship. Then an old friend that I dated when I was 18 re-entered my life. I started an affair with him and haven't looked back. My husband found out very quickly and we divorced. My current lover was also in a relationship when we began our affair. I am 47 and he is 48. He was dating a woman 16 years older than he is. She happens to have lots of disposable income. She is basically his sugar mama. He admits that he has never been in love with her, but he respects her and feels guilty and is obligated to her because of all the gifts she showers upon him. My lover is a very attractive and charming divorced father of 4. He doesn't want a relationship unless it involves love and mutual respect. We have been dating for almost a year. His sugar mama knows about me, but refuses to give up on the relationship. He promises me that he wants to spend the rest of his life with me, but he continues to accept gifts and go on dates with her. She has given him property, vehicles, clothes, trips, you name it. He swears that eventually he will end it, but he's trying to figure out how to do it gracefully. I have a smart, attractive, reasonably level-headed woman with a good job, and so far I have done okay supporting myself. The logical part of me says he will never leave her as long as she keeps showering him with what she substitutes for love, money, gifts, etc. I feel like this woman is preying on his vulnerability. He is a very soft-hearted guy and feels like his word is his bond. At one time, he did promise her that he would never leave her. I love him and don't want to give up on him, but am I playing a losing hand? Sincerely, lovesick in Texas. Steve, what do you make of this woman?
My God. Okay.
Where do you want to begin?
Everybody knows that people only love each other for money, okay?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as true love or romantic love, like the things that you see in the fucking movies where two poor people get together and have this amazing life together. That doesn't happen.
Wow.
You know why? Because you can't be happy without money. All right? Everybody knows that. And this woman clearly needs to give up because if she hasn't either stuffed away enough in her 401k. I mean, she's 48 years old now.
She's 47, and she says she's
saying that she's
able to support herself.
Yeah, she says she does okay. You know what? My mom does okay. Yeah. You know, but she ain't no fucking sugar mama.
No.
You know what I mean? This woman needs to give up because this man is now accustomed to a certain lifestyle
of free bullshit.
It's anything he wants. You read it. You heard it from the horse's mouth here. She gives him property, clothes, vehicles. This woman probably couldn't even buy the guy a new shirt every month.
Now, this guy, according to this, must be... He's 48, so this person is 64 years old.
So she's 64 years old. Probably
sugar mama.
Probably all dried up, used up.
How did this happen?
Well, I mean, if it depends on when this guy met her. Like, he might have been in his 30s and she was in her 50s.
And they were like, hey,
and it was like, oh my God, you've got a ton of money. I'm fairly attractive. Let me come in here and just fucking clean the downstairs for you. You know, wipe away the cobwebs, give you a little 1-2 pump, you know, and she gives him all this stuff. Come on, man.
And I got to tell you, this woman is a fucking disaster. First met 14, 16, divorced.
She had an affair, divorced, had another affair.
What is wrong with this woman? Yeah, you think you're really smart on relationships.
She thinks that she's very reasonable and level-headed.
Yeah, you fucking dunce. What is wrong with you? And the fact that there's all these kids involved and shit. Like, what the fuck is this scenario? These people...
Well, how old are the kids now?
Well, I don't know how old the kids are. I know the male has 4 kids.
My God. I mean, they're getting up into the age where the kids have to be getting to the point where they're almost grown.
This is just disappointing. These people nobody grows up. They're freaking almost 50 years old. They have no idea how to run their lives.
Well, no, it's just, hey, what should I do? Should I should I keep trying to steal this guy who has the world handed to him? And it's like, what happens when, like I said, it's going to be such a culture shock because this guy's just so used to everything being handed to him. And then when you guys get together, I'm sure, like I said, he'll say that he loves you. Why not? Because that's a word, you know? Who the fuck cares? And he can just always go back to this woman that's going to give him everything I want or everything he wants because you're going to let him do that. And until you draw the line, there's no argument here.
This woman's a disaster.
Yeah,
He's not going to give up.
You
should give
are
up.
terrible at life.
You need counseling instead of writing and going, hey, you know what? I ruined a bunch of people's lives. Maybe I should get my shit together. You think this guy likes me? I'm like, no, because I don't even like you. Nobody likes you.
She sent him a letter in the mail that just had, do you like me, circle yes or no on it. And
she's waiting.
And he actually wrote in maybe in the middle and circled it. That's how I feel this relationship went.
This is
And she was like, okay, cool. Well, he can just come and fucking plug me away whenever he wants and then be like, oh, yeah, I love you and I want to be with you. But you know what? I've got a fucking new Mercedes sitting over here, so I'm going to go back over here for a while. Promise, I'll be right back. Just tell me when you're done with your period and I'll come back to bang you some more.
You're a disaster.
Done.
This woman's a disaster.
So,
you're all fucking disasters.
So
and I hate
actually, you know, when all is said and done, hold out hope. There's a chance that this guy might actually leave this millionaire woman and come be with you so that you can cheat on him 5 years from now and be like, I don't know what to do with my life.
When the woman dies, just wait out till this 60-something-year-old woman dies.
But you know, women live longer than men. This guy could die out well before her. She could push well into her 90s.
There you go. Or enter this threesome weird relationship.
Well, that's what she's in now. Because
they'll actually be there, connect with each other.
No, because that's
some gross threesome old people sex. That's hot.
Because, I mean, obviously the old woman knows about the younger woman.
Yeah, how is she putting up with this stuff?
And she's just like, well, okay, you know, I'll get you a new suit next week. All right.
Everybody's a fucking idiot. I hate everybody with this story.
I think it's great.
It's fucking. I think
it's a great story.
It's a great story.
And listen, Lovesick in Texas, just wait a little longer. He's right around the corner.
Oh yeah, it's gonna work out because you know what romance.
He'll be there in 5 minutes.
I know more about romance than this woman, honestly, and it's not that. I'll tell you that right now. We got a new segment.
My God. Hey, let's talk about. Speaking of. The way that the way that some women think. Let's talk about some girl logic.
Girl logic.
Oh, that's so nice.
Oh yeah. In the zone.
So, as we said earlier in the show, Girl Logic is this new monthly segment that we're going to do where we talk about these things that I've full-blown conversations that I've actually heard women have or that women have actually had with me, and I sit there just puzzled the whole time because I go, this can't be like what you really think, right? Yeah. This can't be right. You know, it just doesn't make sense.
And yeah,
but in her mind, she's like, no, that's what's going to happen. So, anyway, this is an article that I pulled from yourtango.com, and it's called 8 Reasons Why Living with a Boyfriend Won't Lead to Marriage. Because I've had a conversation with a woman before who flat out said, well, you know, the relationship wasn't moving as fast as she wanted it to, and she was like, well, I know, we'll just move in together, and then you'll have to marry me. And I was like, really?
So the relationship's on the rocks.
Not on the rocks, but there's no, every time she like brings up about like maybe taking it the next step forward and wanting to get engaged, wanting to talk about where their life's going, wanting to have a family, blah, blah. He just kind of like pushes it off and goes, you know what? No, we can talk about it later. Let's talk about that later. And then a year goes by and she's like,
okay, so the woman's like enthused about the future of the relationship. Things
guy's not so enthused about it.
The guy's not. Okay.
The guy just puts it off. And then what does she do? She's going to make the situation worse and go, let's move in together. That'll make him marry me.
Okay.
So here's a list from Deborah McLeod from yourtango.com.
Oh, Deborah. Hi.
8 reasons why living with a boyfriend won't lead to marriage.
Okay.
Let's go. Number 1, men and women have very different ideas about what living together means. So women typically see it as an almost inevitable step towards marriage, while men see it as a no-obligation test drive. Couples who initiate a live-in relationship under the fog of such contradictory assumptions are already in trouble. Now, that's step number one. If you have different ideas of what this means, it's already doomed. Like your logic is already flawed.
Yeah.
Because that's not where the guy's mentality is.
I don't say all the time. I feel like,
but you have to go into moving in together with a plan. You have to be
on the same page.
You have to say, look, I want to eventually get married and have kids and have a family. Is this something you want? And if it is, we need to come up with a timeline of when and how that's going to happen. Or if he just goes, if he just keeps going, oh yeah, I mean, we could just let's move in together and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's just kicking the rock further down the fucking road. It's not helping.
I think there's both to it as well, because you want to see. I think it's always good to move in together so you can actually do it, but you have to.
But see, this is the test drive mentality, and I have thought that way too.
But I'm saying you also have to have the option in mind. You can't be going in there going, You have to be like, wow, I really like this girl, or wow, I really like this guy. Both ways, and then go the next step. Is this somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with? We seem to get along. Everything's connecting. But this is before you move in, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you have to have all that stuff like thought out.
I wouldn't go into it going, why not? Let's see. You got to go.
But the original point of this specific story is this woman is using it as a Band-Aid.
Doesn't make any sense.
Going, oh well, we'll move in together because things aren't moving fast enough.
And one person taking it seriously, one person not.
One person not.
That's what it is. All right,
let's see. Number two, you've heard the old expression, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? It's an ugly phrase, but there's some truth to the message. Living together results in regular, no-string sex for a man, thus removing the sexual motivation that is part of the marriage proposal. And don't worry about his proposing just to bed you. There are too many sexually available women out there for a man to propose marriage just for sexual release.
There is? Where are they?
I would like to know that too. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't like a guy's, but I don't agree with this whole no strings. No strings.
Well, I think what they mean is, hey, if you're gonna have sex with somebody, you're in your relationship, you're hoping that this is gonna go somewhere, and this is the only one you're gonna have sex with, and et cetera, et cetera. That's all they're saying. I think I get it.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird phrasing because
it is a weird phrasing.
It makes it sound like this guy's going to move in with you. He's going to keep being your boyfriend and keep fucking you, but he's just going to go out and find other women to fuck too.
That's not
because you're not married.
You'll know
so
where
whatever.
he is. That's the thing. It's like if you're living. Here's the thing: when you're living with the guy, it's harder for him to cheat on you.
Right? And if that's something that you have to even worry about or think about, probably not the guy for you.
Right. So,
hey, number three. Living together means that a man doesn't have to pursue his girlfriend any longer. That's number three. As something a little too easily acquired, it just doesn't hold the same value as something that is more challenging to get. I have seen many men in my office who are apathetic to their partner, and I have noticed this to be more true with couples who are either cohabitating or who have lived together before sliding into marriage.
Okay, so the guy doesn't date the girl,
basically,
or court the girl anymore.
Feels like once they live together, that's the time that they spend together. There's no more effort involved.
I've seen that.
I've seen it too. And there's been times when I had lived with girls in the past where I almost fell into that, but I quickly come out of it because it sort of makes the relationship very stale, and monotony will drive you insane.
There's got to be a mix of, like, on the one hand, you got to have that comfort level where you can kind of like bum around, because being at home is like not looking your best. So I think on one hand, the girl has to understand, and the guy, that your partner is not going to be all dialed up for you all the time, walking around the house, and that's fine too.
You know what? That's okay.
However, that doesn't mean don't not take the girl out or don't plan date nights with your partner, because that's just as important, even if it's like a once a week or once every 2 weeks type thing, whatever it is.
Every couple should have a thing called date night, and there should be a designated day, or, that you guys can plan that out.
Yeah, and then go on those getaways or whatever you got to do, or,
It's the only way that it's going to work. Listen, we're professionals.
I'm just saying.
Number 4, there is no interest in taking things to the next level. This is the one that was the scariest for me when I heard this woman talking about it. Because it removes much of the man's motivation to make the formal commitment of marriage within a reasonable time, living together often causes women to feel frustrated and get stuck in a cycle of hope and disappointment. Christmas comes, she hopes for a ring. only to be disappointed. Her birthday comes, she hopes for a ring, only to be disappointed. Her sister gets married, and she hopes for a ring, only to be disappointed. You get the idea.
How many Facebook posts have you seen right around Valentine's Day,
Christmas,
yeah,
all
New
those
Year's,
times of year, all those times of the year where women just immediately assume, like, if I've been with a guy long enough,
and we're living
this
together.
is, we're living together. This is going to be the time. But the worst part of it is the women that think that way that have never even talked about it. When you don't communicate what your intentions in the relationship, because people can get stuck in this swill of, living together for 5 years. You never once even talk about what the future is going to be. You just keep living life day to day, and you expect that your partner is a fucking mind reader. And you're like, it would be really great if we kind of like, we've been, and the other part that I hate about that is when they start the conversation with, well, we've been living together for a while now.
What's a while?
So, okay, but what does that have to do with anything? Have your feelings changed? And again,
do you feel
like
relationship?
Does it feel like that is more of a Band-Aid to things getting stale? We need to spice things up. You know what we should do? We should fucking get married. That's not spicing things up. That's making things worse.
Yep.
Number 5. Couples who live together are less likely to get married. Why?
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, it's from the reasons that I've mentioned that remove the motivation to marry. Cohabitating couples also tend to have more lax attitude towards commitment and don't work as hard to stay together. When their relationship goes through a rough spot, as all relationships do, it's all too easy to just walk away. The legal and public commitment of marriage motivates couples to work through conflict, strengthen their relationship, and stay together.
Because all the paperwork.
Because of all the paperwork, yes. You guys have put down a $500 deposit on a place that you're going to have this reception where you're going to spend way too much money on food and booze. And, who wants to take, you're going to let all that go to waste? You're going to at least talk about it.
Now, you're, not to knock you or anything, but to completely knock you down, you're living proof of that. You've lived with quite a few women and you haven't married them.
And I had no interest, no desire to.
No desire to not marry any of them?
No desire to marry any of them.
Wow.
No.
See, there you go.
And again, it was just, we lived together for so long, never talked about
became complacent.
Was never a thing that was on the table. And, after the relationship ended, and we would have like these breakup fights and stuff like.
Breakup fight?
Yeah, like the one that like led to believing, the breakup fight.
Oh, okay.
They would get on this high horse about, well, I thought we were going to get married and blah, blah.
And you were like.
And I would be like, whatever made you think that?
Wow.
Because we never talked about that. Mm-hmm. It's just fucking
not good
weird.
Communication. Not good communication at all.
Let's see. Number 6, living together is not a reliable way to predict long-term compatibility or marital success. In fact, couples who live together before marriage divorce at higher rates. There are other ways to set yourself up for a happy, healthy marriage. Serious dating allows two people to get to know each other as loving friends and determine whether they have a reasonable chance of being a faithful, respectful, and cooperative couple with shared values and vision.
Oh, so they're saying you should be friends with the person before you start.
They're going with the friend route.
So the friend zone thing.
You're not supposed to go and fuck the guy at the bar and then ask him his name and then ask what he does and then see if he'll call a week later and then take you out and then get married. That's not the way that it's supposed to go.
No, because you can't just be friends with a guy and then date him. That would be weird because you guys already get along.
It's like dating with my brother,
Oh, that would be horrible.
It's hard to hear, but it sounds like women have been doing it wrong. I can't date you. We're friends. It's like...
We're friends, so we get along, and
it's like we get along so well, and I don't want to jeopardize that, like, being better friends with you. That just doesn't.
Hang out and have
that's
sex
just
with a guy.
weird. Number 7, very few unmarried couples who have children end up staying together. In other words, a child's chance of living in the same home as his or her biological but non-married parents until he or she is a teenager is negligible.
That is so true.
Of those couples that do keep their relationship intact until their children are grown, 93% of them are legally married.
Yep, that makes sense. That's all makes sense.
I would have to agree with that 100%. I don't have much to add to that one.
Me neither.
It's just...
That's just is what it is.
That's a fucking statistic. You can look that up in the books.
Well,
that's all about numbers and figures and things.
My mom always said this. It's like, hey, anytime I date a girl, first thing she says in the first... Don't get her pregnant.
Don't get her pregnant. And number 8... Living together takes the excitement out of being newlyweds. Being a new bride and moving in with your husband to start a life. Why do you have to move in with him? Why can't he move in with you?
Oh,
and
very sexist argument.
And perhaps a family with those shiny new rings on your fingers to show the world your commitment is a wonderful experience that many women still hope for. Put the cynics and haters on ignore. Their bitterness reflects their own choices and reality, not yours. Many couples still live happily ever after marriage, and you can too. You just need to know where you want you to go in life and what choices are most likely to get you there.
Gotcha. That's good.
So, I hope that brings some sort of relief or insight into saying something like, well, we'll just get married or we'll just move in together. That'll fix it.
That's not going to fix it.
You might want to take a second look at that.
That'll exasperate the problem, actually.
Just go ahead and listen to this segment of the show over and over again until it clicks.
Yeah.
Because it'll hit you eventually that what you're doing is fucking stupid.
Well, it's part of number 2. Well, if I ever get to go, that's why I remember. I'll say this one thing to conclude it. Like my last long-term relationship.
Yeah, that 3 weeks that you dated that girl.
This was the Mother Teresa girl. This was about 6 months in, and she was living at home with her parents, and of course,
Winner.
So, of course, they were getting sick of her. They're like, "Why don't you go live with Austin?" And that to me was the scariest thing for me. And that to me, at that point, I knew that this wasn't going to last much longer because I was not excited about it. And if that was the case, that's a huge red flag going, well, you shouldn't live with somebody you're not excited to live with. So, yeah, and I could have probably done that, and that would have ended terribly, and all this money
would have been horrible.
And you've been through it multiple times, and it sucks. So,
yeah, we'll see. I'll get it right someday.
I think you will.
Maybe.
I think you will.
So anyway, tell us what you think. Go to badculturecrewproductions.com. Jump on Twitter. Talk to us at Bad Culture Crew. I'm at Bad Culture Steve.
My name is Austin Daniels. I'm at Austin DNLS.
Yeah. We'll keep plugging that away.
Call to action is what they call it.
We'll keep plugging that away while you keep plugging your sugar mama.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the next thing. It sounds like we've got quite an argument to get through here. John Goodman, Kristen Wiig, pick a side.
Pick a side.
So in an article from the dailynews.com, John Goodman had an embarrassing run-in with Kristen Wiig where he is quoted as saying, "I'll never speak to her again."
Now, this was a story told on, Howard Stern, I think?
This was, John Goodman was on Howard Stern last week, plugging his new movie 10 Cloverfield Lane, which came out this past weekend.
Apparently, good reviews, yeah?
Yeah, it's actually, I've heard that it's pretty good.
Great. I haven't seen the other one. Good, too, right?
It sucks.
You didn't like it?
Yeah, don't watch
Got
that
good
one.
reviews.
They're two totally different movies, but...
Oh, these two are?
Cloverfield and 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're different movies.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I guess at the premiere of the movie, John Goodman was there doing some mingling with some of his cohorts on the red carpet and talking to people. And anyway, he sees Kristen Wiig.
What was Kristen Wiig doing there?
Well, these people all go to these premieres. I mean, if you're an A-list fucking actor, you're invited to this shit.
Oh, are any black people invited?
No.
Okay.
Will Smith was not at the premiere of 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
So anyway, John Goodman walks over to Kristen Wiig and and he could see that she was sort of in the middle of a conversation, and I guess he sort of interrupted her and said, "Excuse me," because he's a huge Kristen Wiig fan. Who would figure? John Goodman, Roseanne's husband, was a huge Kristen Wiig fan. So he walked over, I guess politely tried to interject into the conversation, and she turned to him with a death stare. And this is the way that he describes it. With a death stare that said, "Yeah, I'll talk to you in a minute." And as she turned back around, she made like an atom bomb sound and like did the pew.
Oh, I thought he made the sound.
No,
he was.
No, she did.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I thought he made it sound like his heart.
I'm going with she did that just because it sounds.
Tell the story right.
It doesn't say who did it.
I think he's saying this like, boom, my heart sank.
Makes sound of bomb dropping.
Give me a roast beef sandwich, even though I'm losing weight. I'm John Goodman.
Sure.
Okay.
But anyway, so she completely snuffed him on the red carpet at premiere of his new movie. And so I guess here's the question. Who was right in the situation?
Okay.
John Goodman or Kristen Wiig?
Now, as much as I love John Goodman, I have to go with Kristen Wiig.
Wow, you pussy.
And here's why. Because we're only hearing it from John Goodman's point of view. This is the story told through John Goodman.
Okay.
So I'm picturing the story. And I like John Goodman more than I like Kristen Wiig. I actually like them both. But I like John Goodman more.
I'm such a big John Goodman fan.
I do too. He's awesome, with the Big Lebowski and Roseanne, as we've mentioned. And he's Sully. He's Sully in Monsters Incorporated. We love him. He's like a fat guy you want to hug, right?
So you're telling me you're going with Kristen Wiig.
Now, the reason I'm going with Kristen Wiig is because now when I picture the story in my brain, that's twisted up there. John Goodman comes up to Kristen Wiig and she's talking to somebody and was interrupted. And she goes, okay, I'll get to you in a second. Maybe she said it a lot nicer than he's remembering it because he was such a big fan. Because it is, and he admitted in his testimony that he was rude, that he was interrupting her. And perhaps she didn't know how to handle it and said, oh, okay. And maybe she did talk to him after that. So,
no, he
scenario,
he said that he walked away and just didn't talk to her.
Now, in that scenario, maybe Kristen Wiig was having we don't know what Kristen Wiig's conversation was. Maybe she was having a heartfelt conversation. Maybe her friend was telling her, hey, I'm getting a divorce with this guy. Maybe they're going, oh my God, I just, punched somebody at a Trump rally. I'm getting sued. What do I do?
Don't feel like that was the case at all.
Do you think happened?
She was probably like, oh my God, where did you get those shoes?
I don't know about that.
That's probably what she was talking about.
I don't know. So I can't jump against Kristen Wiig. But I do like John Goodman, so I'm taking Kristen Wiig.
No, I'm siding with John Goodman. I'll tell you why. You don't turn away a legend.
So
okay,
in the middle of a conversation,
I think that she thinks that she's too much of hot shit.
I don't know
that you would turn away a man like if somebody like John Goodman came up to you and was like, and he didn't like go in and go, "Hey, bitch." He was very cordial and nice about it.
Yeah,
what
if she was talking to like Tom Hanks? Like, so you're sitting there
Tom
talking
Hanks
to Tom
Hanks.
So what would it be? Who's your biggest idol, I guess?
Oh,
so,
I can't talk. I don't know. I don't know who my biggest idol is. So if I'm sitting
here talking to Weird Al Yankovic and John Goodman comes up,
you will stop what you're doing and talk to John Goodman.
Definitely not do that. But if Weird Al Yankovic came up and John Goodman was there.
Because what I'm picturing is he walked up to her, tapped her on the shoulder and said, excuse me.
So he touched her inappropriately,
and
is what you're saying.
All of her bones and her body locked, and her head spun completely around 180 degrees, and she went, get a minute.
So the way you're telling the story is John Goodman comes up to her.
Green vomit spewed out of her mouth.
Okay, so John Goodman sludges up to her, and the earth shakes a little bit because he's really fat.
Yes.
Then he grabs Kristen Wiig from the backside
in full frontal,
accidentally, quote unquote, touches her tits,
and goes, "What's up, sweet tits?"
And then goes, "Hey, baby, I'm a big fan." And she was just like, a little rude. Excuse me.
See, that's not how I'm picturing
it. And then he ran away like a skittish little girl. And then he comes back to his friends. He's like, I told you I would do it.
I'm picturing that she, pulled a knife out, put it up to his neck, and said, "Don't you ever fucking interrupt me again, you fat slob."
I
think that's more rude than interrupting somebody.
When Kristen Wiig comes on the show, we'll talk to her about it and see if we can, because I like them both.
I don't think anything that she has to say is going to change my mind.
Do you like them both?
I can tolerate Kristen Wiig.
Man,
I can tolerate Kristen Wiig.
Not to whatever. Do you have any what are your female comedic? What do you like in female comedy? Who are your female comedians?
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
That's okay. It's weird. It's like it sounds sexist, but it's true that in the different sects of comedy,
yes,
women's comedy is one of them. I do like Roseanne. I think she's very funny.
Roseanne is funny.
Roseanne's funny. Yes. I don't think she. Besides her show,
she hasn't done comedy
crazy.
In fucking 20 years.
Phyllis Diller is amazing. Phyllis Diller is amazing. I like Kristen Wiig. She's a good writer. Very good writer.
No, she's fine.
John Goodman, very good eater.
He is.
Well,
he was great in he was great in Arachnophobia. Very good in that. So I'm taking John Goodman.
I'm taking Kristen
Wiig. You decide. Pick a side. It'll be our Friday poll. So if you manage to wake up from the streets where you passed out with your drunk, sloppy ass on St. Patrick's Day, come on in and vote. Pick a side.
Yeah, don't vote for the primaries. Vote on the pick a side.
Yeah, but it's because that's way more important.
It is very much so. We got 2 more segments to do. Steve, let's make it a little weird.
Make it weird.
Okay, Steve, you have a cat?
I own one feline, yes.
And tell us about your feline.
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
He's a piece of garbage.
Ash the cat.
His name's Ash. We call him Ashhole.
He's really dumb.
He's an idiot.
He's a really dumb cat. So if you like cats and you like cat videos, there used to be, after 4 years, the Internet Cat Video Festival is over. This took place, I believe, in Minneapolis. Let me see here.
That sounds like a place that it would take place.
This writing. Wendy! The font is just too... No, it takes place Minnesota. Okay, Minnesota. Minneapolis, Minnesota. And basically it was this huge festival where they would show all these cat videos and people would come over and watch them together. The first one was held in 2012. It was kind of a fluke. The staff was looking for ways to celebrate the end of the season for this open field free Thursday night event in Minnesota in this big green space, big park. And an intern just said, hey, why don't I just show some cat videos on my laptop?
Why not?
They were like, all right, go ahead. And then apparently overnight it took off. People from around the world were calling up Minnesota and saying, hey, can we come over and do this? And it evolved into this huge thing. So basically, it was Minnesota Historical Society. So basically, it became this huge thing, and they've been doing it for years. People come dressed up. People bring their cats. Grumpy Cat was there.
People bring their cats and dress up as cats. That's fucking weird.
Grumpy Cat was there. It went to the Minnesota State Fair, became a huge event, and then the last one had 13,000 attendees.
Dude, that's more than any Trump rally.
Yeah, it is true.
There are more people that want to see videos of cats than they care about any presidential candidate in this country.
It's not as divisive, unless you get the internet dog videos.
I'm sure there were a lot of cat fights after this, so to speak.
So I guess it's ending. They're doing renovations, and they're just saying, all right, that's enough of that. So somebody may take over the festival, but as of now, it is no more.
I am just fucking heartbroken.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I watch most of my cat videos on YouTube.
That's where it was from. Yep.
Online, so I don't really need, especially if it's in Minnesota, I don't need to go out to a fucking freezing cold field.
I would go
in
if
February or March.
If I would, well, here's the thing. I would go, but I'm allergic, so I can't go.
You're allergic to film festivals.
Yes, not cats.
Wow.
Totally fine with them. But all the allergens in film festivals or internet video festivals held in parks,
I'm sure that's a problem for you.
But no, I'm allergic to cats, and I'm like, I wish I could go to these things. I actually like cats.
Well, you could just wear like a hazmat suit. People just think that you're dressed up like a yellow cat.
Yeah, but then like the people would think I'm going to get ET.
And that's fine. ET's not at the festival.
So that's kind of weird. I don't know. That's
it's bizarre, and I don't know. Like I said, it's just very strange that people would flock to go to something like this when it's so random. Like all I've got to do is go to YouTube, type cats.
Yeah, but you got to be around your people. Boom. There's people passionate to travel across the globe.
Actually, I don't want to be around those people.
I'll tell you this, it's really cool. It's kind of like a con. I like it when people get together from all over the world or whatever and say, hey, we are united because of internet cat videos.
That's for you, fucked up.
And
I have a cat, one cat, and people always tell me,
and your cat sucks.
Your cat's going to be so lonely, you should get another cat. I'm like, no, I have one cat. I only need one cat. There's one of me. I need one cat.
And he sucks.
And he's an idiot.
He sucks.
So whatever. People tell me that I'm being mean to him. No, I'm like, you come on, hang out with him for an afternoon, and then leave the house and tell me what you think.
He's dumber than some of the dogs I know. And dogs are really stupid.
Yeah. He's much dumber than dogs.
He's really stupid.
He gets stuck in trees all the time and shit.
Did you see any pictures of this cat video festival?
I did see some pictures.
Did you see the one where, remember last year when all those people were taking the sandwiches, pieces of bread and putting their cat through it?
Oh, yeah.
There was people dressed up like that. In cat suits with giant loaves of bread sticking their head
I have no time for people that dress up like fucking cats. I just don't. It's bizarre.
What do you think of Cats the Musical?
I love Cats Don't Dance.
You do love that movie.
If you ever want to see the greatest animated musical that's not done by Disney, there is a movie that Warner Brothers put out back in 1997 called Cats Don't Dance. You need to watch it. It's amazing. Every song in it's fantastic. The animation is great. The voice actors are fantastic. It's very funny. Everything about it's perfect.
Steve especially likes watching it when we come home from being really drunk and he wants to pop it on and fall asleep about it.
I love falling asleep to Cats Don't Dance.
Yeah, that's
the only movie I would ever fall asleep to.
You've been doing that since you were 4. Coming home from the bars, drunk, watching Cats Don't Dance. Then the internet took off. You're like, oh my God, cat videos. Let me watch them. Is there film festival? Oh, I gotta go.
That's the only cat video that should be in the Cat Film Festival is Cats Don't Dance.
Well, do you think anybody will pick it up? I don't know. I don't think they will.
Probably not. It's sort of like a fad. That's just something that's it's fucking dead. Done.
Yeah. Cool though.
All right, great. Anyway, we got one segment to go. It's for all of my fucking Irish partiers out there. It is St. Patrick's Day. Let's talk about it in the last word.
The last word.
So, direct from our friends at WikiHow.
Woo!
WikiHow, to do anything. They have a list of how to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So, hopefully, you haven't left the house without reading this, because if you did, you're going to have a bad time. You're probably not going to do it right.
And the thing is, you're probably you likely have these logged in. You're listening to it right on Thursday, and then Friday you'll go out.
And it'll be fine.
And I've got my pencil and paper.
This is what we have.
Ready to learn.
There's actually now, for this one, it's pretty funny. There's actually 2 different methods that you could use. You can either use method 1 or method 2 for celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
I wish they were more creative with naming the methods.
It's just method 1
and
method
2.
Yes.
Come on, WikiHow.
So here we go.
All right.
Method 1.
Sure.
Get ready to celebrate. Learn a little history of St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
I'm really not going to divulge that information here. That's something that you can look up on your own time because, quite frankly, I don't care.
Oh, because I was interested in talking about that because you know what? I'll say this. When I was growing up as a child, see, I went to St. Patrick's Cathedral School, and I learned all this stuff about St. Patrick's. So we had an affinity.
So then you do know that St. Patrick's Day is a religious festival that has been celebrated in Ireland for over 1,000 years.
All about the shamrock.
It was recognized as a celebration of Irish culture and heritage. The day it was named in honor of St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, who has been credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland. So that's basically...
And his story is pretty cool.
If you didn't know anything about it, yeah. So WikiHow has the whole thing about learning the story of St. Patrick.
You got snakes out of there.
You can read about it. Yeah, he drove the snakes out of Ireland.
He was kidnapped as a kid and then found a way out. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Doesn't do anything with how many, it has nothing to do with ordering drinks. So let's move on to the next step. Step 2.
It's interesting, though.
Go green. You don't have to wear a sweater with a giant shamrock on it, though it would certainly help. The great thing about this holiday is you are free to go as subtle or as wild as you like. St. Patrick's Day t-shirts have been commonplace articles of clothing to wear proudly. Consider the following suggestions when pricing out or picking out something to wear.
I'm wearing green today.
An all-green t-shirt with optional Irish-related sayings. For example, "Kiss me, I'm Irish." Note that no real Irish person over the age of 10 would be caught dead in a shirt like this. T-shirts with Irish beer monikers such as Harper Guinness are more acceptable. Yeah, this is where we get into the drinking.
That's
I
fine.
like this.
That's fine, but I don't...
For those who are feeling particularly festive, try buying or making a leprechaun costume.
No.
Replete with white stockings, green top hat, and fake or real red beard. If I needed a red beard, I would have to start growing it like four years ago.
Yeah, and
to get it to this one, you just keep dyeing it red.
Yeah.
If you're working on March 17th, as I am,
as most everybody is,
you can still get into the festive spirit by incorporating a little green into your work attire. Try a green striped polo or collared shirt, a green shamrock dotted tie, or green socks or undies for the closest St. Patty's Day, or for the closet St. Patty's Day.
So are people at work
going
to see your underwear?
They absolutely will.
So take off your pants at work and show people that you're wearing your shamrock spotted underwear, completely acceptable in the office.
Go get a shamrock shake, because those are the best things about
Where those
the St.
at?
Patrick's.
Those are at
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
The shamrock shakes are the best thing. They just taste like toothpaste, and they're amazing.
Ew.
Number 3, accessorize. So this is all about just dressing the part.
I need to know about accessorizing.
Method 1 is just getting dressed for St. Patrick's Day.
See, I'm good. I've got my green shirt.
Buttons, pins, and jewelries are a great way to dress up an outfit on St. Patrick's Day. They become a way to express the fun side of fashion. So basically, they want to see your flair. You know, if anybody has seen Office Space in the last 10 years.
I haven't seen it in a while.
Try buying let's see. In tradition to Ireland or attending parades, there's a general celebrating to wear a small collection of shamrock fastened by clothespin to your top in the same place as a badge would be worn. So is that like a sheriff badge or
Wear a clothespin?
where you would
The fuck
put
are they talking about?
They're talking about putting a cloth like a shamrock pin on your
I
shirt.
don't like wearing pins.
That's weird.
Fuck pins.
And they're really easy to lose.
They're pins. You could stab it the wrong way, you know?
Hey, here's a fun one.
All right.
Dyeing your hair or your pet's hair bright green is
Dye
also a
ash
great
green.
way to stand out.
I'm sure Ash would love that.
But be sure to use non-toxic dye. Really? Because I was just going to get toxic waste and just roll him around in
Roll
it.
around in some sludge.
And be like, here, WikiHow told me to do this.
You might get some powers if you do that, though.
That'd be great. Maybe he would get the power of having a brain.
No. He's too dumb.
Never coming. Fuck
It's
it.
either the thing is when you're rolling around in toxic waste, it's a 50-50. You either get the good power
Or
you
your
get the
face melts off.
or you get the evil power.
Or real life scenario where
You could also
your
get like
face
a
just
really
fucking melts
pointless
off.
power. Like Family Guy had one where Meg rolled around in sludge and her power was to
The
grow her
fingernails.
nails out.
Yeah, saw that one.
Yeah.
Hey, number 4. Learn some Irish words and phrases.
Okay. These were stupid, but I
Yeah.
can't wait to not use these
Yeah,
incorrectly.
the Irish have their own distinct dialect of the English language. I'm going to let you go ahead and read those on the website yourself because I'm not teaching you how to speak
don't wanna
Irish
butcher them?
on this show. No,
Here's one. It's grand. Say that a lot.
grand. Yep.
That's
Like,
fine.
go to Denny's that day and say, I want an Irish slam breakfast. And see if they bring you one.
They'll probably just bring you to Grand Slam.
They'll just be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
They'll be like, all right.
Bring the Irish slam breakfast. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
And number 5, this is the last one in method 1.
Method 1.
Learn to Irish dance.
So Steve, you're good at that.
I'm a very good dancer. If
No, you're
if
not.
you don't know,
You're definitely not.
a lot of what is that? What is that? Clickety clack dancing? What do they call that?
That's
Tap dancing.
Clickety
Clack dancing. That's me. I'm really good at it. Irish dancing is a form of step dancing, which is popular in both Ireland and all over the world. Not only will it impress everyone you know, but it's also a fun way to increase flexibility and burn calories. So look at that. Richard Simmons would be sweating to the Irish here with his clickety clack dancing.
Why'd you come up with that?
I don't know. It's what it sounded like in my head. So Method
You're
one
like
sounds
9.
Method 1 sounds really fucking boring.
Well, it's basically like dress green, put on a pin. By the way, pick up a few moves from a classic dance culture that's been going on for centuries. Just pick it up in a week. You'll be fine. You'll be
That's
ready
great.
to go.
Okay, so that's Method
Fucking
1.
kidding me?
Let's get on to what sounds more exciting, Method 2.
All right.
So on the day of St. Patrick's Day, here's what they suggest for number 1.
Sure.
Travel to Ireland.
Okay.
That's the first one.
We better
what
get our
better way to
tickets.
celebrate the quintessential Irish holiday than a trip to the land of saints and scholars, Dublin, the capital city. Usually holds a 5-day festival in honor of the holiday and is the location of Ireland's largest and most impressive St. Patrick's Day parade. So what you're going to want to do, stop listening to the program right now. You need to jump on southwest.com. Find a ticket to Dublin.
You gotta go now.
You got to go right in this second because you're going to miss it. It's probably going to be over by the time you get there. But
But what better way? There's lots of scholars and
all right,
saints there.
So I don't know if like
Get over there.
So that's
Fucking
not,
idiot.
so that's number 1. This is Method 2. So number 1 under Method 2 is travel to Ireland. Now I don't understand, like, are all the subsequent ones under this like part of that, or is it separate? Because number 2 is eat traditional Irish food.
Well, you got to do that over in
Do you have to go to Ireland to do that, or can you do it here?
No, well, what you could do, maybe you could also order takeout from Dublin. So you call up Dublin, say, "Hey, send us over your corned beef," and then they fly it over. And if they're not here in 30 minutes or less, you get it free.
That would be great. Did
you see that?
So number 2, eat traditional Irish food. Beer and spirits are not the only great consumable good to come out of Ireland's. I don't believe that. Corned beef, cabbage, and lamb stew, accompanied by traditional Irish soda bread.
Soda bread?
That's what it says.
What is
Soda
it, like
bread
Mountain Dew bread?
are tasty ways to keep it real. And that's in quotations. It
Who
says
wrote this?
it's a way to keep it real.
Ice Cube?
Potatoes are about as Irish as you can get and are one of the
Potatoes?
staples of the Irish diet. So make sure you eat a lot of French fries from McDonald's while you get your Shamrock Shake, because potatoes are the way to go on St. Patrick's
What
Day.
about Idaho potatoes?
No, man, it's got to be traditional
isn't there-
fried potatoes.
I thought they had a famine
French
over in
fries.
Ireland.
I don't know, probably.
The famine still going on, right?
It's been going on for centuries.
Famine. There's no potatoes.
Ever since they drove the snakes out.
job, though.
Number 3, play some Irish music. So make sure that you get onto the plane with a boombox that doesn't have any headphones, so you can annoy everybody sitting around you with festive Irish music for the 12 to 13 hour flight that it is to Ireland.
Now, I will say this. when I was a kid, we used to do multicultural day. Did you ever have this at school?
I'm sure I did.
Okay, so every grade would have to do a different country, and we did Ireland one year. And
Sounds right.
And you get to pick. You had to write a paper. You had to do all these different things. So I got to do Irish like customs and traditions throughout this whole thing. I don't remember much of it though, but I remember my job was to play.
You're just too drunk.
Because half the class would go around and travel to the different countries, get their passports taken, and they'd visit.
Yeah, and you really weren't going anywhere.
But and then the other class would stay, and then you'd rotate it. So when I was staying to invite people to Ireland, I would play the Irish wedding theme, and I played that over and over and over on my keyboard. That I can still play it to this day. It's memorized.
Well, no wonder why nobody liked you.
You know, but I come to think of it, do they still do that anymore? Or are people like, oh man, that's racist?
Not really, they really don't.
Probably
They don't do that anymore.
It was fun though. I love Multicultural Day.
All right, so you play some Irish music.
I can,
So that's
but
fun.
I can only play the Irish wedding dance. That's it.
That's all you need.
On loop.
Number 4, attend or get involved in local parades. So basically,
get
they want you to steal a float
No.
and take it off of the parade route.
Well, you're getting involved, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting involved.
You could also talk to the people beforehand and possibly volunteer, but that seems like a lot of work.
That seems like something I wouldn't want to do.
No, that seems like you should
Not all
probably
about
still
that.
float. Yeah, okay.
So you can do that. I'm not even going to read that one. That sounds dumb.
Okay.
Number 5, check out the pub scene.
We do that kind of
All right.
already.
So most bars and pubs love St. Patrick's Day. I wonder why.
Yeah.
As it's one of the few holidays known for a marked increase in alcohol
One of the few? I thought people
it's one of the
drink,
few.
People drink on every holiday there is.
So many will be catering to patrons with the festive St. Patrick's Day theme.
Mm-hmm.
You may find special prices on draft beer, food, and cover charges. Ugh, worst word in history. Cover charge.
We don't have a cover charge here normally, but since it's St. Patty's Day, here's our special St. Patty's Day cover charge.
Call around your favorite joints and ask if they have any celebration plans, which they probably will. If it's a bar, they have St. Patrick's Day
And there's
plans.
plenty of Irish-themed bars around that you can go to.
Well, around here anyway. I mean, an Irish pub is probably the most commonplace thing in America when it comes to like a themed pub or restaurant.
Right.
I see them everywhere. We have like 7 around here.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, consider having a party at home. For those people too drunk to drive, if you aren't a fan of the bar scene, but still want to celebrate and get wasted,
Wasted, maybe?
invite a few friends over. I've got a couple of those. And have a St. Patty's Day
Did you gain friends from
themed
last week?
party.
Did you get some new friends from last week?
Nope.
Oh,
Just have like one.
it was just me. Yeah, I'm not even your friend.
Go as extreme or as laid back as you want. Insist that everyone wear green or just have them come as they are and chill out with a few beers.
I gotta tell you something. The parameters of this party don't make sense. Go as extreme or low key as you want.
You can get blackout wasted
Or you don't have-
can just not drink at all.
Encourage everybody to wear green, but if they don't, that's fine. Like, what makes this an Irish?
They're not
themed
holding
party?
any standards for this party. I don't
It
understand.
just seems like you can have friends over and drink what's out of the fridge. It's St. Patrick's Day.
Consider starting a tradition such as watching a movie like The Quiet Man with John Wayne.
But if you don't want to watch that, you could also watch Monsters Inc. with John Goodman.
yeah.
That's fine too. Whatever you want.
Serve corned beef and cabbage or Irish stew. You could do that.
Or you could just-
or you could just make popcorn. You could do that as well.
Yeah, this
You know?
is whatever you want,
In
guys.
Ireland, it is common to get together with family for St. Patrick's Day, so perhaps you'd like to do that too. They weren't invited to the party originally, but you know what? Since they do it in Ireland, they can come as well.
But if they don't have to, there's no
No.
obligation.
And you know what? They might want to wear green. If they don't, that's okay. They can wear blue.
They
you
can
know?
wear whatever they want because you know what?
They don't have to wear any clothes. Nobody has to wear anything ever in the history of the world.
But if you want to wear clothes, that's perfectly acceptable.
And then here's some. So that's the end of the. That's how to celebrate. Now here's just some general tips, and these are really good.
Okay.
Green donuts can be fun, especially if you can shape them as a clover. Quite a few stores make these, or if you'd want to buy them. Some people celebrate this day by pinching people who are not wearing green.
So do I gotta come over and sexually harass you?
Yeah, this is it. There are many ways. There are many people who don't like to be pinched, though, so be careful.
But I know you like to be pinched,
You
man.
pinch me right on my fucking ass.
Yeah, you do.
The 8th and the 17th of March is some word I can't pronounce, which translates to Week of Ireland. if you're Irish, try to celebrate the week by speaking more Irish than you would normally. Well, I don't speak any,
normally?
so I'm just going to use grand a whole bunch this week.
Do you say top of the morning a lot? They do that, right? Top of the morning to you.
Is that a thing that Ireland does?
Top of the morning to you.
You know more about the Irish culture than I do.
I went to St. Patrick Cathedral.
And here's a big, and now here's a section that says warnings. Warnings. Be responsible. Whether you are going out to the bar or over to a friend's house, drinking and driving is not acceptable.
That's not acceptable.
Select a designated driver, aka somebody that doesn't get to have any fun, in advance who will not drink and will be sure you get home safely. That's what we have Uber for. I don't understand that. Just party your fucking ass off. Who cares?
Or you know what? Go to a friendly cop. Say, hey, could you drive me home? They'll do it.
Yeah, they will. I mean, they'll by drive you home. I mean, take you to the jail, but you know,
you won't know the
same
difference.
thing.
You'll be so drunk.
Who cares? And number 2, be respectful. St. Patrick's Day began as a Catholic feast day and is still regarded as such in Ireland. Some people in Ireland, particularly the countryside, still observe the feast day by attending Mass. Although drinking and partying on St. Patrick's Day is widespread, it's important to be aware that that is not the main fact.
I do like the Irish Catholics, though, because they'll be like, let's do this so we can get the hell out of here and party. Like,
no, I think it's great.
Like, you know when you were a kid and when you went to Christmas, it was like, all right, let's just get through this Mass and then get the hell out of here so we can eat all this food and give you...
No, see, I went to... When I was a kid, like, when we used to go to Mass, like, and I mean like 8, 9 years old, we would go to the Christmas midnight Mass.
Yep.
So that we would sleep through it.
Okay.
And then we would get taken home, and then boom, Christmas, boom, there's presents.
That's what you got.
So it was fun.
You just got to say, oh, Jesus' birthday, boom, get in there. All right, bye-bye, go home. Yay, turkey.
So I know you sloppy dicks are going to be out there just fucking passed out in the street and being rambunctious and loud and crazy, and it's going to be, you know, you're going to be drowning in green beer and your Jameson whiskey and your Irish car bombs. And it's a great time. I'm just saying... You're going to want to follow everything that we just talked about in the WikiHow. And if you need any reference of anything we talked about, go to WikiHow and just simply look up how to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. It's that easy.
Glad we could guide you through this, guys. I wore green so I can molest you. That's what I learned.
I have blue on right now.
But it's okay. You could do whatever. It's St. Patrick's Day.
I can do whatever I want. He told me, like, I could come in green or I could not come in green. It's fine, too. Whatever.
What's that?
So anyway,
man.
That's our show.
That is our show.
That's
what are we doing next week?
Next week, come back for the bad movie review for the month, where we will be talking about United Passions, the FIFA-inspired story, which I hear is just fantastic to watch.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
And of course, we will have all that and so much more as the Bad Culture Crew rolls on.
Thank you for listening to Bad Culture Crew. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to check your feed every Thursday for a new episode. Be sure to stay connected with the crew on social media. We're at Bad Culture Crew on Twitter, the Bad Culture Crew Facebook page, and of course on badculturegroupproductions.com. We are pleased to bring you the best of the worst. Because at Bad Culture Crew, we find the terrible so you don't have to.